Thanks for stopping by the Video Art House. Try not to make even more of a mess.
It does not compute.
It's time once again for another Meet the Creator. This time comic writer creator Nikola Jajic sits down with Comic Book Man.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my Video Outhouse. It's time for another episode of Meet the Creator. And joining me today in the outhouse for Meet the Creator is
Nick Jajic.
Nick Jajic. Nick is a writer here on the South Side. He's written for Alterna Press. He's written for Arcana Press. He has it's 2 books he's done so far. He has a 3rd book that's coming. Do you have a publisher yet for that?
No publisher yet.
Publisher yet, but it's coming. You've already finished how much of it?
We finished the 4th chapter. I've finished the scripts, and we're currently working on the last chapter. It's going to run about 130 pages.
So that'll be coming soon. Nick has done, among other things, Loosely Based, which was a, how many issues?
It was 4 issues.
4-issue miniseries for
Arcana.
He's also done the Big Bad Book, which was for Alterna. Now, did that come out as a miniseries too, or was that?
They both came out as graphic novels.
Both came out as graphic, but originally this wasn't a comic book series.
It was a miniseries, yeah. Okay. It was also a 4-issue miniseries, and then they packaged it as a graphic novel on both of them.
Now, you're a Southsider.
Yeah, I'm originally from Lamont.
Southsider, yeah, from Lamont. Okay, which for those of you who don't know, I'm talking Chicago South Side, which is where Alternate Reality is located. Exactly. Loosely Based. That was your first book.
Yeah, my first published one was the Big Bad Book.
Okay, did you write Loosely Based?
I wrote Loosely Based first.
Okay.
But he makes a deal with a muse, and he has a muse, and together. They start. He becomes a famous writer. He has a series of novels, the Casanova Killers, and he's self-absorbed and sort of has this false sense of entitlement. And due to his relationship with the muse, the characters from his books start coming to life and wanting him to write them into future works. And sooner or later they start blackmailing him, and it gets darker and darker. I think it sort of works on 2 levels. Sort of as like a horror thriller, and then sort of. It's also kind of a metaphor for the creative process.
It sounds a little bit like that James Caan movie that Stephen King wrote. That was a couple of years ago. What was that?
Misery?
Misery.
It is. It's sort of like Misery meets The Twilight Zone. That makes any sense.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Now, what has your response been for this? I mean, it's been out for how long now?
It debuted at San Diego at Comic-Con.
This past year?
Yeah, just now. So it's been a couple months.
Okay. What sort of feedback have you gotten back?
Good. The reviews have been good. It's done well, and people seem to like it. So far so good, I guess.
Okay. Now your other book was the Big Bad Book,
yeah.
And like we were saying, it was written second but came out first.
Yeah, it came out in February.
Okay. And tell us about the Big Bad Book. That is, while this is serious.
Yeah.
This is serious. This is more lighthearted.
Yeah.
And it has to do with different pantheons.
Yeah. It's like sort of the Norse pantheon is the main party involved. There's also the Greek pantheon, Romans, all the sort of past gods, the pagan gods. Basically, it's Office Space meets the old Clash of the Titans with like an Adult Swim sensibility. It's
so it's high concept.
Yeah. It's a dirty comedy, and
dirty as in
just
a lot of fart
grimy,
jokes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and goofy. It's there's also a clown and a monkey in it, so we tried to touch every base.
Clowns. Does the monkey throw his feces at the clown?
Within the first 5 pages.
Now I understand the clown and the monkey have a relationship to each other.
Yes,
actually they do in the book. What is their relationship?
The monkey is actually Thor in disguise, and the clown is actually Loki in disguise, and they already hate each other. So
now I seem to remember reading something about how they didn't like each other. I forget where I read that from.
Yeah, it's some rumor.
Okay, so this has been out too. How long has this been out?
Since February,
okay.
And it's done really well. I think it's kind of got like a cult following. It got really good reviews, and I had a lot of fun writing it.
Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law Mike was the co-creator on both of them. He did the lettering and like the pre-press stuff, and did a few pages of the art for the Big Bad Book.
Okay.
It was the artists on Loosely Based. Rick Hershey does all the art. He's a really talented artist. Sort of has Tony Harris Ex Machina style. that I think works really well for the book.
Now, he drew all of this, but you
Yeah.
had different artists on this book.
Yeah, we had one artist per issue, per chapter on that book, and Loki sort of explains. There's like a story device we use between each chapter where Loki says, you know, all right, the writers and artists sucked on the last chapter. We're getting a new one. You're a dumb reader. Read on, you know, kind of thing like that.
So he
like,
breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, yeah, insulting the reader and the creative team,
Okay.
and that's just what he does.
Can't get
man.
no
That's just
respect.
what he-
I
yeah.
thought you just can't get no respect. What was now? You worked with four different artists on
Yeah.
Big Book. What was it like dropping your script off and getting different interpretations of it?
That was the hardest part. We almost, thank God, Alterna and Peter, the guy that runs Alterna, Peter Samedi, really liked the script and really believed in it, because if he didn't, he probably would have dropped it, just because the first issue and the second issue, you know, each chapter looks drastically different.
Right.
And so using that story device, that's how we explain it. I think all the artists have a really unique style and unique portrayal. They're all really talented artists, but they're totally different styles.
Well, I think for this book, I think that was a strength. I mean,
Yeah.
I've read the book, and I think that it's a strong strength for that book, is that you do have that different style with the same storyline running through, but because it's lighthearted, you get a different interpretation of the material.
Yeah, I mean that's at the end of the day, when it came together, that's kind of how we felt too, and I know Peter and Alterna did, and you know everything kind of worked well there. But for a second, you know, we were a little worried. The first artist fell through, and that's how this all started. And actually, Rick was who did the art on Loosely Based, filled in for an issue of the Big Bad Book and found the other artists for us for the Big Bad Book. So it was, you know, he was, you know, really helpful in that.
So there you go. When a door closes, sometimes a window opens.
Yeah, there you go. Jump in or out. You're on peril.
So tell me, what have been your influences as a writer? I mean, there must be some writers out there, either comic or otherwise, that you've read that have influenced your work that you really like.
Yeah, definitely. I read all the time, comics, books, everything. I think as far as comic wise, I loved, you know, Neil Gaiman's Sandman run. I loved all of Mike Carey's stuff, his Lucifer stuff. I thought it was just epic and unreal. I love his new series, Unwritten.
Right.
All the you know, grades, you know, Alan Moore and all those guys, definitely. Guys working today, you know, I love Ed Brubaker. Grant Morrison's just a wacko. He's awesome. And book, you know, writer wise, I really like Kurt Vonnegut, old school stuff. Michael Chabon, the Cavalier,
Chabon,
yeah,
Cavalier and Clay.
yeah, that was great. Something recently I read that I thought was really funny, like the funniest book I've probably ever read, was How I Became a Famous Novelist by Steve Healy. He used to write for Letterman.
Okay.
And it's just brilliant madness. It's awesome, and it just kind of peels away the, you know, the curtain and sort of reveals it, you know, for what it is.
Do you have a preference working in comedy or drama, serious or funny? Does it matter with you right now?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, I've done the comedy book. I've done this one. I'm working on Devil's Island, almost done with that, which is like a historical thriller and with like a spaghetti western kind of feel to it. It's set on the prison colony Devil's Island in the mid 1800s, and so that was something really different than these last two books, because I had to research the time a lot.
I was going to say, what made you pick that topic?
I watched a documentary about these prisoners on Devil's Island in like the mid to late 1800s that were they were actually used to hunt other prisoners that would escape the island, and I thought, man, that's crazy. So then I loved the show HBO's Rome a lot. I loved the movie Papillon, so I kind of started writing, and then all of a sudden it just kept going and going, and you know, basically it's about these hunters that have to recapture other prisoners on the island, and sort of how the whole dynamic of the island changes. They're not really prisoners any longer, they're not accepted by the guards, and it's sort of like this power shift. And meanwhile, I try to combine a lot of historical elements in it, Napoleon III's attempted assassination, and that's it, you know, and then just kind of put it together.
Who'd you say your artist was on that one? The one that's coming?
Joseph Cage. He's unreal, super talented guy. He's just brilliant. Peter Samedi does the lettering on it, and the cover's by Dodi Mondero, who's like an amazing local artist, a muralist. I mean, he just had a gallery show. The guy's, his cover's awesome, but like it doesn't even, like, the stuff he does is just insane. So I hope he does more cover stuff, because he's really good.
Okay. By this point, folks are probably wondering, where can I find out more about Nick and his books? Where can people go to?
You can hit me up on Facebook. It's my whole name, Nikola Jajic.
Okay.
You could hit up Loosely Based on Facebook or The Big Bad Book on Facebook.
Do you have a website or do you have email address?
I have an email address, nikolajajic@yahoo.com.
Okay.
It's basically NIKOLAJAJIC @yahoo.
Okay.
And yeah, you can hit me there, and
Okay.
you know, I'm more than happy to BS all day long.
Okay. Well, that's been Meet the Creator with Nikola Jajic. And be sure to stop off at the store sometime or go to the store's website and check out all of the other Meet the Creators we've done, as well as all the news and reviews and everything else. And until next time, this is Comic Book Man
This is Nick.
saying bye.